Doma Sports Talk Worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, let's get straight to it. Word has it that Canelo Alvarez, our face of boxing, is going to, he's in negotiations right now to fight Jaime Munguia on his Cinco de Mayo fight. Right? And I'm going to say it right from the beginning so you know. So you can already turn. If Canelo fights Jaime Munguia on May 6th, he must be stripped of his title from the WBC and the WBA at 168 pounds. So the division can move on, right? And for those who say, well, no, he should be able to do what he wants to do. Well, your boy, Jermell Charlo, he was undisputed at 154 pounds, and really undisputed. No one gave him a title. You got to remember, people, Canelo Alvarez was given the 168-pound WBC championship. He fought Callum Smith for the WBA, and the WBC gave him that, which means he didn't fight for all 4 belts like everyone else. So especially if you haven't fought for the belt, then why is it that we're about to let Canelo, who does not fight Mexicans, this is what he said just a couple of years ago, and I told you when Canelo said, I'm not fighting Mexicans, and he said it, I represent Mexico. That's why. Remember that? So he doesn't fight Mexicans. And I told you then what the translation meant, I'm not fighting David Benavidez or Gilberto Ramirez. Those are the 2 that are around his weight class. And he's not fighting those. But now, just a year and a half later, you're going to fight Jaime Munguia, who's very Mexican. And Jaime Munguia, there's not a championship there or anything. There's no reason. Jaime Munguia hasn't looked great in his fights, but that's the reason he's getting it, because I haven't seen anybody, Canelo, fight anyone who just come off of looking great. I hate to be honest, but damn it, somebody got to say it. He shouldn't be even thinking about Jaime Munguia. There's David Benavidez. And listen, I'm not going to keep saying David Benavidez because he's not avoiding David Benavidez any worse than he did Demetrius Andrade. Right? So it's no difference. I don't want us to all of a sudden see that Canelo avoids hard fights because he's not fighting David Benavidez, but the same people won't say that he was avoiding Demetrius Andrade, basically messed up the man's career because he just wasn't, you can't be afraid to fight somebody, but then you're the one that's better. That's what they did to Demetrius Andrade. And Demetrius Andrade, the difference between Demetrius Andrade and David Benavidez is this. I was with you in 2 different weight classes. Demetrius Andrade was the champion at 154. Canelo was his mandatory and refused to fight him. Demetrius Andrade was a champion at 160 pounds, right? And was the key for Canelo to become undisputed champion at 160 pounds. That's the middleweight division, a more important division than the super middleweight division, right? So those are reasons to fight him, and the most money he would have ever made. So at the point, it would have been Canelo's highest payday. So that's worse than not fighting David Benavidez. But damn it, David Benavidez is also someone that we also know is a hard fight, right? And so now he doesn't have to fight it. Now, David Benavidez is WBC mandatory. David Morrell is WBA mandatory. And everybody that Canelo is trying to fight has nothing to do with his division. You see what I'm saying? Nothing to do with the people he's supposed to be fighting, his mandatories. I'm going to fight Jermell Charlo. This dude's been off for 2 years, and he's been in a psychiatric ward. Let the man get healed and get back to fighting. Then he comes back and fights a Jose Benavidez, and we just say he's nothing. And I thought that was a decent performance, given the circumstances, right? But, he's not ready for a Canelo right away. Why are we talking about him, right? Talking about, Belanga. Be careful. Belanga, because he ain't been looking good either. Perfect candidate for Canelo. And then they could say, well, we could always, Puerto Rico versus Mexico always sells. Damn it. If you want Canelo to do circus fights, then just give up the belts. So the fight between David Benavidez and David Morrell is a huge mega fight, unification minimum. Unification. But we would like to have David Morrell versus David Benavidez should be an undisputed fight. If Canelo just get off the belts, if he's not going to fight. We just took the titles for Jermell Charlo for going up fighting Canelo, who was an important fight, right? But he gets stripped and they give it to Tim Chu, which they should have just told Tim Chu, sorry, he's going up to fight, Canelo, so we're going, he's going to fight you next. Right? And then Jermell Charlo would have still been undisputed, He would have fought Tim Chu. For those who thinks he would have lost to Tim Chu, but whatever. Tim Chu would be then undisputed. Then Terrence Crawford could have a significant fight. Right? Canelo's talking about fighting everybody except those who he should be fighting, and we're accepting it. So my bottom line here is this. If Canelo is going to fight a Jaime Munguia, then first of all, it's not going to sell what you guys think it's going to sell. That's first. Second of all, he needs to be stripped just so we can understand that even boxing can be fair sometimes, because all of us are pessimists right now. We watch this thing and we're like, man, how are you guys doing this in broad daylight? Right? But the thing is, we're watching people that love somebody, want somebody to rule the world who's a criminal, and we know he's a criminal. So things do happen in broad daylight that you can't understand. So at the end of the day, I think you're with me. If Canelo fights Jaime Munguia, then do what the hell you want to do. Come back and say, I'm sorry for saying I'm not going to fight Mexicans. Fight the Mexican. It's all good. But be stripped of those titles so David Morrell and David Benavidez can have a significant fight and not cancel themselves out so Canelo can only avoid one of them. Let's stop acting like we don't see that. Y'all feeling that? Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm out of here, y'all.